Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Blue from Levr. Blue, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Wayne. Happy to be here, my man.
Awesome, man. Definitely looking forward to finding out what you guys are doing over at Levr. But man, before we jump into that, can you tell us a little bit about your, kind of your background, maybe what you did prior to Levr and what got you into this space? I know, with what you do, and people will see when we jump into Levr. While you're staying anonymous, but whatever details you feel comfortable revealing about your background, kind of tell us how you got into this.
Yeah. So I actually got into mining back in like 16, 17, specifically Ethereum mining. I figured out that I could strap together a bunch of 1080 Ti's into a rig and make my way with it. So myself and my partners bought a handful of them and started going on it, started shilling the coins into ICOs, and the rest is history.
Awesome. So yeah, that's I definitely remember those days. It was you can make some pretty good money slapping GPUs together. They also the gamers hated us because we were buying up all the GPUs.
Yeah, it was funny. My brother-in-law at the time had a nice 1080 Ti as well, and I just encouraged him to go ahead and start mining. He was able to buy himself a new rig after the end of the year, right? And so they hated us. I started hating myself at the end of there, having to deal with what to mine every day. But it was a fun little learning experience, and set the stage for me to hop into DeFi right at the right time and get trolling around in there. Love Binance Smart Chain back in the day, right? And so. It was really a kind of exhilarating experience to be a part of that stuff early on.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump into what Levr is and what you guys are doing there, because when I look at it before I kind of let you go, I kind of just tell you kind of my impression. I see sports betting is in there, right? But it seems like it's a combination of sports betting and DeFi. Am I looking at that right? Or tell me.
Yeah, we kind of look at it internally as a perp dex for sports betting. Take a lot of inspiration from projects like GMX. At the time we created Levr, or really conceptualized it, we were heavy into GMX, doing trading on it. Shout out to the Blueberry crew, created a great product and have pushed it forward really hard. And we just we have a professional sports betting arm on the side of us as well from some of the other co-founders, and there's just nothing really in Web3 that we felt like we would use ourselves as sports bettors. And so the only way to fix that is to create something, right? And with that, we decided to kind of marry DeFi and sports betting together in a way that wasn't just a simple kind of standard book with some crypto payment rails on it. We decided to really make a shot at a 0-to-1 innovation. And it took us several months to kind of get the back end math correct, but out of it fell Levr, which, as you said before, it's really leverage on sports betting, right? So think of it as you can come to the market, you can place a $100 bet, you can, during testnet, get up to 5x leverage. We hope to get that up to 10 or 20x during mainnet, and you get the winnings that come with it. So our motto at Levr is bet less, win more.
Nice. Man, I love it. Kind of what you said there is inspiring when you think about what so many companies and projects do. And I'm not talking just about in your space. I'm talking about in Web3 in general, right? They'll say, let's take these traditional rails and let's just add Web3 payments to it. And that's their innovation. But you guys set out to kind of build something that wasn't there before, right? Something that not like, as you mentioned, not just adding Web3 rails to sports betting, but kind of almost reinventing how people are able to do it, and leveraging the power of the technology to show what's possible instead of, hey, let's just put what we have here and put it on chain.
And shout out to the people that came before us, right? There's some good companies out there that are crypto payment rails on top of like a traditional casino. But for my mind, I looked at like, to push this space forward, we need some real innovation on it. And just being able to pay for your bet in Bitcoin or Ethereum or a stable coin is not enough for us. And so when you add in a sports book to a perp dex and the baby of Levr comes out of it, you really unlock a few things. First and foremost, obviously, is leverage on top of your bet, right? So like what I mentioned before, you can bet it, up to 5x leverage on our test net that should be dropping here any week now. And then on top of that, one of the more interesting things we discovered is that when you have a perp dex, you get the fee set that comes with it. So you're not really beholden to just VIG as your profit driver. you're able to capture borrow rate, funding rate, and liquidation profit, which means we can offer the best odds in the world, which are true odds on any line that we offer. So when you come to us, you not only get leverage, you also get really, really good odds on the bet that you're going to make. And we don't have to turn away sharps or any sort of kind of tricky bettors that are winning on the site and erroneously KYC people out of existence, because the liquidation engine can handle most of that.
Gotcha. So walk me through kind of this process. Like when did you guys start developing Levr? You mentioned it's gonna be live soon, right? Like and we're hoping by the timing of this podcast it'll be a lot closer to it. So you may be listening to this and it's either already live or closer to being live. But what was that history like building up to this? Because most people see a finished product and they don't realize what kind of time or effort actually goes into building that and optimizing it.
So it was like kind of early 2022, and I was deploying heavily into GMX, and the sports betting guys there's a team of quants that we pair up with on the sports betting front there, and quite frankly, I was trying to teach them GMX. As you know, it was the new cool thing on the streets at the time, and I said, hey, let me show my boys what's what and get them into some crypto deployment. And in teaching them GMX, it kind of came to my mind that, you know, we're really just betting long or short here on the future price out of this oracle, not actually buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever you're longing on the underlying collateral. And so with that, I said, you know, we're really just a hop, skip, and a jump away from putting some odds on chain and doing it in a pricing formula that we might be able to allow for a similar leverage system onto a sports betting market. And kind of the point from there to now has taken us about 2 years exactly. You know, a lot of that was kind of some downturn in the market, you know, hard to get projects going, hard to get projects funded, hard to get people that are good to work on them, that type of thing. After the FTX collapse, Celsius, all that crap happened. And we did take probably the better part of 4 months to finalize all the math, all the underlying principles of the product. But here towards the end of last year, we bootstrapped up a team. We're able to close our pre-seed round, get the team funded, start really building the thing out, start doing some internal testing, work out the kinks in the system. And now we're to the point where every single night we're having a ball as an internal team, just testing it on whatever's running. And really the aim with it now is not just to stop at kind of Web3 gambling, but take this thing to as massive an audience as possible. And we view that as the entirety of retail gambling with a novel bet type that is leverage. And we can build it on the back of Web3 rails so that it just works because it's Web3, not you're there because it's Web3. So think of some of the successful products in the retail space for crypto here over the last, you know, year. Polymarket, Moonshot, Pump Fun, specifically with something like Polymarket. You're not on it because it's crypto based. You're just on it because it's the best prediction market. And so we look to kind of blaze a trail forward for ourselves on the path that they've already created there, and bring something new, innovative, and exciting to the market, but not have to rely on the fact that it's crypto for users to come. We want them to come because it's fun, it pays more, and it just works.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. You know, I wish more companies and projects that are building would look at that and really put that focus, because I've always said that adoption is truly going to be around the corner when people are using crypto and Web3 rails. You know, Web3 is a newer term. You know, it used to be just say crypto and blockchain, but in essence, they're using the technology and not even realizing they're using it in some cases. They're not here just because it's crypto. So I love your points there. Definitely something that I think more people should take note of and think about that when they're building, because there's only so many people that are already in crypto, in Web3, and if we just build for those people, it's a small echo chamber.
Yeah, and shout out to the infrastructure providers there. That, you know, if you're a builder like I am, and you look at the blockchains that you had and kind of the wallet account abstraction and all that stuff that was available 2 years ago, it wasn't at the point it was at now. So I know that infrastructure kind of gets a bad rap with where all the investment's going, and do we really need more infrastructure? My answer to that is always, hell yeah, we need more infrastructure, right? Because without that stuff, I can't build a product like we have now. So from everything from the data availability of the real world casino odds getting pumped into a API feed that can be consumable by a product like ours, to the account abstraction and wallet creation infrastructure, to the blockchains that are highly performant that could operate an on-chain order book. That stuff is not, 10 years old. That's like new, fresh things. Shout out to our boys at Monad, which is where we plan on launching our chain, our beacon chain instance. You know, building a really performant blockchain that allows you to have thousands of orders placed at a single time on a single event is just something that wasn't capable like 3-4 years ago. So I always look at it as, combination of the right time, right place effect, where we just started building this thing at about the right time for it to even feasibly be possible to be built. And we didn't know that when we did it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of great tech, a lot of great ideas over the past, and I'm not just talking about crypto Web3. They've not succeeded because it was just the wrong time. That's kind of what I point to with Web3. But I even go back to internet adoption, right? You think about pets.com. Right? I mean, that was a great idea. It was too early. People weren't ready for that. The technology hadn't evolved enough to where people were ready for it, and it gets a bad rap. But it's same concept here, and most people don't think about that, right? Most people look at crypto and blockchain projects as far as, some of it's just it's clunky. It's hard for people to use, but when some of those builders build that great tech, it allows people like yourself and your team to come in and build a tool on top of it that could be very user friendly. So what's the user experience like, or going to be like for users when they come into the platform? Say I'm coming into this and I have a wallet, but I have very little Web3 or crypto experience. How would that experience be for me?
So we really have two kind of paths for a user: an advanced path and an easy path, right? And so the advanced path, we expect users to come from a browser-based wallet with maybe a Rabby or a MetaMask wallet, and they could access it with Wallet Connect as they would any kind of dApp that they would want to venture onto. They have multiple options there. They could stake into the vault to just retrieve revenue on the back of the house pool. So think staking USDC into a GLP style vault that backs the product. They could stake Levr token for share or platform revenue, or they can come and they can bet. If they bet, you can come, it bets from your wallet on deployment, so there's no account creation required. And so let's say you want to bet $100 as underlying collateral. You're able to choose the amount of leverage or your multiplier, as we call it, that you want to take on your bet. You'll be given not only the positional markers at that cost rate, but you'll also be told your liquidation parameter. So let's say an easy way of explaining this is if you come in and you want to take a 50-50 bet, you're going to buy a 50-cent token that will eventually be worth $1 if your bet hits. And if you have 5x leverage on it, that means there's 10 cents underlying the backing of that token, right? And so if there's a negative 10 cents move on the live game portion of that, I'm going to have to liquidate you. So pregame, we pull in odds from casino providers, call it like Bovada or Pinnacle or William Hill or wherever, and we aggregate those odds together, and then that's the price that we offer to the public after we remove VIG. And so we'll track those same casinos live during the game. So let's say it's an NBA game like the Lakers versus the Cavs or something, and we're tracking the money line. So the same money line odds that you bet on pregame are going to be tracked live game through the same pricing formula. And if they get below a certain point, you're going to be liquidated. And so obviously, if you take 5x leverage versus 2x, you're going to have a closer liquidation threshold to the starting price than you will at 2x leverage, right? And the way we really look at that is you don't only get the liquidation constraint, but you get the profit that comes with the 5x. So if you're betting a 2-to-1 underdog, you can make 5-10 times your money on 5x leverage. And it becomes really analogous to a parlay, right? And so we think sports bettors can also understand that if they lose one leg of their parlay, they're not going to win their bet. They can understand if they break the liquidation threshold, they're not going to win that bet. But you can go on and you can win. About a third of bettors at 5x leverage will get through the book that otherwise would have won their bet. And then you redeem your positional markers, your tokenized bet, so to speak, back for $1 per marker to the house, and you walk with your winnings. And so what we've really tried to do is create the excitement, fun, and profitability of a parlay and squeeze it into a single game versus having to take 4 or 5 games of bet across a day. So you can get more options and more opportunity. And then we didn't stop there. One of the really neat parts that fell out of the kind of early pinnings of Levr is that we have an in-game order book to help facilitate the trading. Now we have a cash out function that's really our market maker bot working underneath it on the same math as a normal book would run for a cash out. But we have the tokenized positions, so why not allow users to trade those back and forth against each other? So if you're a savvy advanced user, you can come to the browser-based product and you can trade to your heart's content on whatever strategy you feel necessary and make multiple knocks on leverage throughout the course of the game off the in-game volatility of whatever you're betting on. And then on the counter side of that, if you're just a retail bettor, you'll likely show up to our phone app and you'll just take a bet on leverage, get your liquidation constraint. You'll have a health factor that you monitor throughout the game. If you want to cash out, you can hit the one-click button. And if you win, hey, all the more better for you.
That sounds like you guys have really thought this through. This is not just somebody launching a gambling platform. You guys, and I'm guessing that's a tribute and a testament to your team as well. It's you got some very experienced people, from all facets of, excuse me, betting, sports betting, and all that. So definitely looking forward to seeing this. I'm definitely going to be a user here when you guys launch this. What initial? So when you guys go live, what sports are going to be available on there? Will it be limited or will it be a good mix?
So on testnet, we'll hit testnet with NBA and NFL bets. Okay. Well, we'll expand to all basketball leagues that we can get data for, all football leagues we can get data for. Then we'll also have soccer, cricket, hockey, baseball, rugby. Esports is one of the big ones that we're looking at. We're really limited by the data. If we can get the data availability for the sport on the in-game portion of it, then we'll make a market for it, right? Yeah. And so one of the things that we hope to do is offer multiple bet types on those sports. So like first off, we'll have money line, and we'll expand to over, under, and spread markets, which are your top 3 typical bets. But then down the road, we'll do stuff like prop bets for season long, maybe even player props, in-game props, that type of stuff. Really the sky's the limit as far as data availability is concerned. So, and really one of the other funny things is the data is becoming available in a consumable format for us kind of on an ongoing basis. So even a year ago, maybe half of the sports that we want to offer were available. Maybe NBA and NFL and soccer was about it. But as time goes on, the providers start offering more and more data consumable in a format for us to run the product. We'll make markets on it.
Gotcha. What about college sports? Anything there?
Oh yeah, we tested a whole bunch with the NCAA football. We really hope to have NCAA basketball for the March Madness tournament. I myself was a big college basketball guy back in the day. Now I'm more of a UFC guy. So shout out UFC. We definitely are going to have UFC fights on there at some point. But we do hope to have like kind of NBA runs on the same principles as NCAA basketball, right? And NFL football runs on the same principles as the NFL football. So if we can have a professional league of the same sport, we can do the collegiate sport as well.
Awesome. So you mentioned UFC as well. What about regular boxing as well? You'll have regular boxing?
Yeah, we'll have regular boxing for some of the larger fights. Kind of the constraint that we've figured out in UFC and boxing is we can't offer more than like a 5-1, 6-1 underdog. And so sometimes those things get really out of whack, right? But I've been telling people that next Jake Paul fight's definitely going to be on there. It was a trash fight, but it was a fun experience, right?
Right. That's where I was going with that. I'd love to be able to bet against Jake Paul in the next fight.
I hope he actually fights somebody that has a chance of knocking him out, because nothing more fun than seeing an influencer get punched in the face, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly why I brought it up. I'd love to see that, especially after that height, man. I paid for an internet package on my flight back from Thailand just so I could watch that fight, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, how was that internet, man?" Because I was watching it here at the house, and my Netflix was buffering something crazy. My takeaway from that fight was I should go short Netflix stock.
Oh, absolutely, and I kind of At the time, I was thinking it was because I was on the plane, and then I flip over to social media and I see everybody bitching about it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't just my in-flight Wi-Fi because I got the streaming package, on there. So yeah, it was just as bad there. So that's definitely that's another thing. Yeah, definitely side bet, right? Short Netflix, or maybe we'll be able to. Maybe there'll be some side bets on if the next big event that Netflix hosts, if they'll be able to support it or not, right?
I thought it was kind of fun that everybody was able to watch it. You didn't have to go pay $50, $60 or go to a streaming site for it. That was kind of unscrupulous, right? So that was a fun thing. Is kind of everybody you knew got to watch it, right? Almost everybody I know has Netflix, so everybody got to participate. But the downside of that is everybody's watching it, and they have to have the bandwidth to handle it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think even if they would gate it even with a few dollars, right, cost, it would keep most of the people that are just going to watch it because it's free, versus I at least really want to see it, so I'm going to pay a few dollars to get it.
Yeah, it was one of those things for me where I grew up watching Tyson, right? My dad would watch all the fights, and so every once in a while we'd get a Tyson fight in the house. I remember watching live when he bit Evander Holyfield and all that stuff, right? So I was trying to find a prop bet before the fight. I was like, how do I bet on a prop bet that Mike bites this dude's ear?
I think that's why he was biting his glove, right?
Yeah, I saw that, just nonstop biting the glove, man. It was an interesting thing. Hey, shout out to the fighters before that though. Some of those other fights that they had were pretty legit.
Oh yeah, that female fight was.
Oh, that was crazy. That chick's eye. Woo!
Yeah, so yeah, those were actually better. You're right, than the main events.
Yeah, that happens though. I watch UFC a lot, right? UFC's probably my favorite sport right now, and some of the championship fights here, especially lately, are kind of anticlimactic, especially for what I want to see happen. But it's the undercards are really where the action's at, right? And so I always try and tune in for the at least the start of the main card so that I can get to see as much of the good action as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, man, we actually did a few events, not with Theo, with a few guys that I'd worked with in the past. We held a few events in Miami back in 21 and 22, and in November of 21, we held an event and we had partnered with BKFC.
Oh yeah,
and we brought some fights into there. And man, the thing about like what you guys have, like if with these future events, if they partner with a fight company, what it was, everybody that came to our conference got a ticket to the fight, and then they also market it as a regular fight, and so it exposed a lot of Web3 people to the fighting world. And now I talked to a lot of those people that were there. They fell in love with that sport. But imagine being able to sit there, hop on the Levr platform, and play some leverage bets.
Well, that's the goal, brother. Right? That's the goal. I mean, we shout out to the guys at Karate Combat. We went out at the Karate Combat fights at Singapore at Token 2049. I thought I almost saw a guy die there. Got dropped on his head and had to be stretchered out. But it's one of those things where, like, as the culmination of sports and crypto merge a little bit more, there's more room for us to participate, not just in making markets for the matches, but also potentially sponsor and stuff. One of our hopes is to get big enough one day to do on-field or on-pitch sponsorships for a variety of sports, right? So it's cool to see the adoption rate, right? I know we got like the crypto.com arena for whatever teams right now, the ghost of FTX haunting the Miami Heat, right? And all that stuff. So it's just an exciting time to be in the space and the sports betting into it, when the adoption seems to be coming, really peaking out of the lockdowns and out of COVID, for online sports betting going up on a rocket ship, crypto adoption going up on a rocket ship. The cross intersection of those bad boys is Levr.
Nice. And when you're looking at it, right, there's a couple of platforms out there that stick out, Stake and Rollbit. And from a comparison, how do you guys differ from them?
So when we look at something like Stake or Rollbit, I look at it more as like a centralized casino model that just has crypto payment rails, maybe as a token, as an afterthought for some reason or another, right? For us, everything's on chain. So from the odds getting pulled in on chain, to the results pulled in on chain, to the liquidations happening on chain, there's no account creation on it. So you're betting directly from your wallet with deployed capital. And for us, it was real important to kind of take a more on-chain, more decentralized approach versus just doing a kind of copy-paste SDK casino. And one of the reasons for that is we have a novel bet type. So we didn't want users to have to trust a centralized body that was behind closed doors to be liquidating them appropriately. We wanted them to be able to see it on chain and trust that everything is happening in the way that it's supposed to. And, you do hear horror stories about some of these operators holding back winnings. When people win really big, they start getting 20 legs of KYC that have to come through, right? And so we wanted to make sure that none of that was in the way for us to get out there and bring this thing to the masses. And so shout out those guys. They're not bad products. They all have their place. But for us, we look at it as a small startup in the Web3 space. Are we really going to be able to compete with a Caesars or DraftKings or even a Stake heads up? Probably not. They got marketing money falling out of the sky, right? And so for us, we need to innovate around that to be able to come in and attack them kind of from the side where they're not at. And that's why we wanted to make the 0-to-1 innovation, which we feel like we're the 0-to-1 innovation for crypto in sports betting, where, there have been PvP books before in the real world. There's been copy and paste casinos ad nauseum in the real world. There's never been a leveraged sports book. So that's for us a true 0-to-1 innovation. It gives us an advantage along with true odds and deep liquidity backed by a liquidity pool so that we can bring something new to the masses that's new, exciting, it's fun. And again, I'll repeat our slogan here. You get to bet less and win more. So head over to levr.bet if you haven't checked us out, and make sure that you give us a like, a follow on Twitter, join the Discord, and you can stay up to date on the dropping of the test net if it's not already out by the time this airs. We do have an incentivized test net that's going to come up, so there'll be bet to earn bonuses attached to that thing if you're on the leaderboard for it, and it'd be a good way to get your feet wet without having to actually deploy capital.
Awesome, man. Save me. That was going to be my next question. Tell everybody where to follow you. So pay attention to what he just said. I also have it in the comments below. You can click on the link, follow, join the website, join the waiting list if it's still there, and follow them on socials as well. So, Blue, man, it's been great having you on here today. Definitely some great information. I'm looking forward to this personally. I want to, I'm gonna basically follow along and make sure I jump into that jump into everything when you guys open it up. So, any final words before we part?
Well, again, I want to thank you for having us on. Reiterate, go holler at us on Levr, LEVR.BET, and then LEVR_BET on Twitter. That's where we're constantly at. Our boy TV and my Twitter will be attached to almost every post that you see there. So if you want to holler at us for any reason, come at us, right? We're more than happy to take requests, work with teams, want feedback from the community. It's a new product, right? And on that point, if you come to the beta test, one of the things that we're going to be incentivizing is leaving feedback on the platform. So hopefully we can get enough users in there to make a difference and really get our product perfected. But really this thing is for the community and for the users, right? So we want to see you guys have fun on it. We want to see you guys grow with it. We want to grow with you guys. And part and parcel of that is guys like Wayne hosting podcasts like this. So we really appreciate it, my man.
Awesome, man. If you guys do anything live, if you come to say the Super Bowl in 2025, where I'm in New Orleans, so we
so our marketing guy is a Lions fan, and we've already promised him a sponsored trip down there to do some marketing content if the Lions make it into the Super Bowl. So you might see us there, buddy.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a Saints fan, so we're not going to be in there, unfortunately.
I'm a Cowboys fan, brother.
But it's always good, to have that. That's the Super Bowl is going to be in our backyard, so I'm looking forward to participating in a lot of sporting events that week. So if you guys have anything going, I'll definitely be a part of it.
Oh man, we'll be hollering at you. I love New Orleans. It's a great city down there, great stadium, right? Kind of historic at this point with all the Super Bowls they've had and all the good stuff that's come along with it. Got to go get down to Bourbon Street and have a little fun in that crazy shanty town that happens over there too. I love that place. So we'll be hollering at you, man. And don't be afraid to reach out to us at any time for anything that you think you want to talk about.
Sounds good. Well, Blue, great having you on. Thanks for joining us again today. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.